Jarbo Gap vegetation under the high tension power lines across from Poe Dam, and possibly in the area of Camp Creek Road. RP was calling from the Poe Dam, looking across under the high tension power lines. There's a possible power line hazard.
We have eyes on the vegetation fire. It's going to be very difficult to access. Camp Creek Road is nearly inaccessible. It is on the west side of the river, underneath the transmission lines. Have about a 35-mile-an-hour sustained wind on it. This has got potential for a major incident, and it requests 15 additional engines, 4 additional dozers, 2 water tenders, 4 strike teams of hand crews. It's got a really good wind on it, critical rate of spread. We're going to have 2176 go down into the community of Pulga and evacuate it.
Engine 2161, DTSO is inquiring if the evacuations for the Pulga area can be considered mandatory, and if there's anywhere else you would like to extend that to.
Mandatory for Pulga right now. We have quite a bit of country for it to cover until it gets into the Jarbo Gap area. So let's make it mandatory for Pulga with them being ready at a moment's notice for the rest of the community. Again, access is going to be an issue. Let's have 2186 and 2167 respond to Pulga. This will be the immediate threat for structure.
Engine 2186 and 2167 respond to the Pulga area to assist with evacuation. 0704 break. Engine 2161 order.
Battalion 2118, assuming Camp IC. For now, engine 2161, 2176 will be structure protection in Pulga. It's already kind of crossing that area, headed towards the Concal area.
Camp IC, DTSO is inquiring if we'd like to update the evacuation. Currently, they have a mandatory evacuation for Pulga, and that is it.
You can tell them that we'll likely be doing an evacuation warning in the Concal area. Advise the Sheriff that Pulga has been evacuated by engine personnel.
Camp IC, Orville, confirming you'd like me to advise DTSO to make evac mandatory for Concal.
Affirmative.
I'm unable to get a hold of the IC. I'm down on Hoffman Road, and we have multiple structures down here. If you can relay to them, I need at least 5 strike teams sent down to this area. We got structures already burning down here. Just to let you know, I don't know if you guys noticed, there is 4 spots across the lake on the northwest side already, and they're pretty well established, it looks like.
We're extending the mandatory evacuation zone to east of Pence Road in Paradise. So that'd be zone 3, 8, 14, and lower Pence Road. So everything east of Pence Road and everything north of Highway 70 is mandatory evacuation zone.
Camp IC, report of a possible entrapment. RP advising they cannot evacuate due to fire. 13526, 13526, Green Forest Lane in the Concal area, across the Concal Road.
Evacuation order is going to expand to zone 2, 7, 13, then Morgan Ridge zone. Everything west of that.
We are not able to work aircraft due to the weather conditions up there now. So hold off on using the fixed wing until we can get a little bit of lift here in the morning.
Yeah, I've just got a report from Training 2107, Division Delta. They're trapped on Hoffman Road with multiple residences taking refuge in a creek.
And probably start setting up the evacuation for one-way traffic only.
Additional engines, immediate needs up in the Pence Road area. Additionally, I'd like to make some evacuation orders for all of Pence Road, Ponderosa School. We're going to start the evacuation orders just north of Merrill.
Just to bring you up to speed, what's going on over here, we have Division Delta has pulled their shelters to protect the residents inside the Hoffman area.
Camp IC Orville, another 911 call, in our at Southern River Hospital. The hospital is now impacted with fire. Roger. Do you copy? You'll have coverage for the town of Paradise. All the resources committed to the campus. Engine 941 copies.
Okay, we've got fire in Paradise.
I'm at 13006 Concal Road with 20 civilians. We're completely surrounded by fire. We're taking a safe zone. We've got explosion, structures on fire, and we're taking refuge in our vehicle.
Can we get a estimated size of these?
2,500 acres. Dangerous to critical.
Report of an ambulance in the area, possibly on fire. 3922.
Well, additionally, Flagstaff is about to be threatened by fire. Multiple cars in the area that will be impacted.
We're bogged down at Billy and Pence. We're going to anchor here and secure the escape route.
Orville, we got fire established on Pence Road at the curve down in the drainage.
Affirmative. I'm up on Pence and I'm sheltering in with some ambulances that are disabled. One is on fire. I believe the one you've been talking about. I have them with me. We're sheltering the house.
I'm in the middle of Billy. As you can imagine, we're trying to get, I believe, a stalled car about a half a mile up. I'm going to leave the truck and head up to find out. We're just south of Billy, about a half a mile.
There's that 6,000 acres, dangerous critical rate of spread. Multiple structure threats. All law enforcement agencies are working on evacuation flow. That's the number one priority right now. I'm from the copy. Clark and Neal are the only two in traffic. Everything else is set up as one way off the ridge. Affirmative. Everything north of Highway 70 has been given evacuation order. All the way up to Empire Creek. Orville, Charlie 2. Local.
Charlie 2, Orville.
But you unable to go low level due to winds, we're going to release back to McClellan. We'll come back out in about an hour and a half and check the winds one more time.
Engine 941, Orville Engine 941, we're unable to make access to the ambulance company due to heavy traffic and fire off of Pence. We're actually going to be leading some vehicles out of Pence.
Affirmative. If they can find an LZ, currently we're working 3 burn patients out with burns to approximately 50% of their bodies. The fire's well established in Honey Run Canyon, just below Canyon View. Multiple spots in the canyon are making the run back up towards Canyon.
Okay, we're rescuing multiple people along Wagstaff. It's going to make it to Wagstaff Skyway here shortly. Cut off the Skyway. Fire's too intense. I tried to make it down Wagstaff to Skyway. I couldn't make it. So you're going to have to come from the other side. I've got a shelter in place set up with an engine in there, and they're trying to hold that. And the fire's going to basically knife across into Billy Road here, and then we're going to have the same issue happen here in Billy.
It sounds like a lower Clark Road getting impacted fire with cars still on it. Okay, Skyway is now 2-lane traffic out of Paradise. Only access up into the ridge will be off Neal Road. Skyway is 20 residents in a nursing home that are all non-ambulatory. They're concerned at the moment.
Rank 2.
I'm setting the TRA up at Billy and Skyway. I've got Chico Engine 15. They'll hold that for us. When the fire impacts this area, if we have all these people here, we'll have to shelter in place.
All right, TriStar's looking for some safe refuge area for the cars that are on there. If you have to, the dozer start punching out some areas so you park some cars. If you have to run the dozer down the side of the road, do it and make it clear.
We're about to get overrun here on Billy and Skyway. We've got probably 1,000 vehicles in here, and I'm setting multiple TRAs up. Once the fire hits, I'm going to pull the people out of the vehicles, put them in the building, leave engines to protect them. That flank of the fire is going to hit Oak and Billy first, and that's where we'll need to make sure that we stop that flow of traffic, and you're going to have to defend that area, protect all those people that are in this traffic jam. Copy.
Skyway and Billy is all blocked in every direction. Right now we're pulling people out of their cars. We're going to put them into the Walmart as a safety area. There's no other chance to get them out down the road. Fire's going to impact us about 10 to 15.
With this traffic issue we have, I think the best approach now is to find locations that can shelter in place, start shuttling people in there. Until these roads open up a little bit more so we don't get people stuck on the road when the fire impacts it. So if we can find big parking lots, I think we should tell your resources, get people in places where we can shelter them until the roads open up.
Strike Team 9250 Charlie, I've got a firefighter with smoke inhalation. I am transporting Code 3 to Orville Hospital off the line.
Okay, Wagstaff and Skyway is being impacted by fire. I've got multiple vehicles. I'm going to try and get into some of the buildings here. I got multiple gas stations, so I don't have good TRA. There are people on foot right now, so they're abandoning their vehicles, and I'm trying to scoop them all up. This will be a high priority.
What's your situation on Skyway?
Big jams with vehicles. I'm starting to shove cars off the road with my vehicle. Right now I've got multiple TRAs set up with probably 150 civilians and a couple engines protected on foot. Structure defense is not the priority right now. It's life safety. I've got multiple people trapped up here along the Skyway. I need one of your engines to ram these cars out of the road that are blocking the road. The fire's heavily impacted Skyway right now, and we're trying to hold it with engines to get all these people out.
How you holding up?
So we're doing all right. We're sporadically fighting fire to hold the Skyway to keep getting people down from the Magalia side, and I'm bringing them to the TRA at Walgreens, which we're defending, and then we're bringing the buses in and shuttling them out of there with the buses. We're holding our own. I got 9220 Charlie, 9120, a couple of Chico rigs.
Copy that. IC or operation, branch 2, priority.
Branch 2, IC, go ahead.
We got fire at the hospital. It's going to threaten the main hospital. We're losing water pressure in the hydrant. We need all the water heaters I can get to the hospital, Red River Hospital. At the hospital, we got one building well involved that's going to start threatening the main hospital. They got a lot of patients up here that are basically in the hell spot. And SO's starting to shuttle some down to their vehicles. So can we get a bus up here?
We got some buses coming, and we'll get them shuttled around where they need to go.
FYI, I'm at Clark, Skyway, TRA. We have 50 people up here working aircraft over there.
Yeah, I've got 3 to 4 buses with Forest Service Engine 72 as their escort. They've been instructed to tie in with you. They're going to try to come up Clark Road and to pick up the shelter in place.
I copy. Heavy fire conditions right now at the Clark and Skyway. I don't know how far down Clark, what the conditions are like. I don't have any info on that. Big traffic jam, probably 150, 200 people up in here.
We made the decision that we're going to just get everyone to leave their vehicles and to come to the center of that parking lot, and that would be the place that we would use as a TRA. We knew we were going to get put in a tight spot, but that tight spot provided enough room for us to be able to move around that parking lot or utilize some of the structures. Everyone is well aware of what's going on. We lost all cell phone service. We had no water. The fire was getting closer, and everyone was already evacuating. Now they were just stuck. There was nowhere for them to go. And it's a really desperate feeling when you get robbed of all your infinite choices that you have. Fire was getting closer. I tried to get a hold of Chief Lopez and let him know that we're going to start needing some air resources shortly. And air resources were very difficult to identify what was underneath that because the column burnt up and completely laid over Paradise. It was a joint effort. I was the only firefighter there, so the responsibility that I took on my shoulders personally was, how are we going to keep so many people safe? This is a fire, and I feel responsible. This is my profession. Everyone was looking to me to have some sort of I guess the easiest way to say it is to have some sort of a command presence, to be to be there and reassure people it's going to be okay. People are chaotic, some are crying, some are screaming, some are upset. The entire realm of human emotion was in that parking lot. From people laughing to people crying, people going into the fetal position, others going to sleep, others petting their pets, others trying to make frantic calls, others were taking pictures, others were coming with their belongings of suitcases. It felt like apocalyptic. So the fire the whole time is moving closer. It moved on the north side of us and it started taking homes in Magalia, Old Magalia, and it was visible. It had jumped on the south side of us. It had jumped on the west side of us. Essentially, it was just this circle that was getting smaller and smaller and smaller with where we were. And there was no chance for resources to come to us. When the fire hit the propane field north of us, I went and made an announcement that at this point, you're going to start hearing some explosions. Conditions had changed in that parking lot. It got smokier, it started getting worse and worse. So it was time to move everyone into the structures. Fire activity began to pick up, spots began to develop around the area. We were trying to catch them as best as we could, and engines began to start coming back because they realized, just based on what he was asking, that the fire front was basically at us. And that strike team that I followed up the hill was the strike team that came up. And I grabbed the bumper line out, which is the hose line that we have in the front of the engine. He's putting it in pump and giving me water, and his firefighter jumps out and comes and takes the nozzle from me, and we're putting out the spot. And I look at the driver of that engine, and it's my old partner who was here. He's been an absolute joy to work with, and when he left, I was sad. He's been a very close friend. He's helped me through a lot of close personal times, and he was there for me. And if I had to time it any better, when I saw him, I almost cried because he showed up. He was there. Like, it was the most amazing feeling in the world just to see him. We had other engines there as well, but to see him and just the history that I have with him, and him and I fought a lot of fire on this ridge, and we've had structure fires, and we've had significant events that we went to, and we were in it together. And now to see him there, it opened just this pit of like I am so thankful to see him. It was as safe as it could possibly be for them. They had 5 engines. All the engines had a certain amount of water, and each engine had 3 people there. So in addition to that, the intensity of the fire had started to progress west of our location. And so the stand that we had made up to that point was sufficient, where I didn't feel any responsibility or guilt if I left. So I left. I know they stayed there for a little bit longer. I made my way through what would essentially look like a war zone to Station 82. I jumped on the engine with my firefighter, and I made my way to Magalia, where we essentially moved people out of its way and tried to do as much good as we could for the next 36 hours.